How many times will Clarence Thomas get flued out? ProPublica has been reporting consistently on how corrupt Clarence Thomas is. Check this out. Here we go to my iPad. Harlan Crow, the billionaire, provided Clarence Thomas at least 3 previously undisclosed private jet trips, Senate probe finds. In the story, this is what they say. Billionaire political donor Harlan Crow provided at least 3 undisclosed private jet trips to Clarence Thomas in recent years. An investigation by the Senate Judiciary Committee, Democrats have found. The flights, which were detailed by Crow's lawyer in response to inquiries from the committee, took the justice to destinations including the region near Glacier National Park in Montana and Thomas's hometown in Georgia. Now, ProPublica, they're the ones who launched an investigation into numerous undisclosed gifts that the billionaire Harlan Crow has given Clarence Thomas, including private school tuition for a relative, luxury vacations virtually every year for more than 2 decades. They say right here, it's possible more revelations are yet to come. The office of the panel's chair, Senator Dick Durbin, said that a report detailing the full findings of committee Democrats' investigation will be released later in the summer. Reese, there is no reason in the world Democrats should not be making this thing bigger. They should not be playing games. They should be proposing a massive bill that confronts the lack of ethics in the United States Supreme Court. There are 3 branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial. Legislative and executive, they have ethics rules. Supreme Court, they govern themselves. That is simply unacceptable.
Yeah, but I think Democrats generally do a piss poor job of communicating the importance of the courts, of communicating the way that the courts have halted so many of the initiatives that they've tried to do, even things that they've gotten through executive action or in laws. And so, yeah, I mean, of course, they're going to fumble the bag. And then, of course, Clarence Thomas is going to continue to be pimped out because who's going to check him, boo? Like, there's no rules. There's no laws when it comes to overseeing the Supreme Court. They could do whatever the hell they want to do. And this whole notion of self-governance and, norms and impartiality and all that kind of stuff, that's been bullshit from the start. But now we're seeing with such a stacked conservative right-wing radical court just how insidious this is and exactly how there is no level playing field. There is no parity between defendants and plaintiffs in front of the Supreme Court. They have their agenda. They're going to enact it, and they're going to get rich while trying it.
When I look at this chart here, Lauren, this was from the folks that fixed the court. I mean, literally, $4.8 million in gifts to Supreme Court justices in the last 19 years. Sam Alito got $170,000. Angela Scalia got $210,000. The other 14 justices got $333,000. Clarence Thomas by himself got $4 million. This man is bought and paid for. I don't care who you are. You cannot deny one Supreme Court justice getting $4 million in gifts.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it is amazing to me. We have rules for everybody. Members of Congress, judges on other levels, attorneys have certain rules of ethics. And yet the Supreme Court, the highest court in the country, has no rules for ethics or standards of ethics or anything else, apparently. Also, I really need the 3 justices, the 3 associate justices, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and, of course, Ketanji Brown Jackson, to stop recusing themselves in cases. Stop recusing yourself from cases. I mean, these conservative judges don't recuse themselves from anything, no matter whether or not there's a conflict of interest or not. They don't follow any rules. And so why is everybody else following the rules while they do whatever the heck they want? And of course, Clarence Thomas is, of course, the worst example. He will continue to be. And when this report comes out, absolutely nothing will happen because that's just the way it goes. Whether the Democrats message it or not, what's going to happen is the Chief Justice, John Roberts, is going to completely ignore what that information is, as he's been doing this entire time. There's no reason for him to change. And the only other group of people I can think of who just sort of get away with anything, and there's no rules, and nobody even pretends that there are any rules, is actually journalists. Because the First Amendment sort of allows you to sort of almost do almost anything. I mean, there are no standards, but the fact that there's no standards for the Supreme Court and there's standards for other judges and attorneys in the country makes absolutely no sense.
I don't throw the word around corrupt loosely, but Harlan Crow wasn't your friend before you joined the Supreme Court. I mean, look, I understand if you grew up with somebody, went to college with somebody, and let's say after college you became friends with somebody and they did what they did and they became a billionaire. I totally get that. No, bruh. They were like, oh yeah, we can throw some gifts his way. We already know, it's on record where he complained about the salaries of Supreme Court justices, how he was desperate for money, how he wanted them to allow them to give more speeches and things along those lines. This is a man who is billionaires are subsidizing his lifestyle. They have paid for his mama's house. They are sitting here, they paid for his RV. They own him. He is one of 9 the most powerful people in the country. He is bought and paid for, and Democrats should be on his ass for being so corrupt, and they should have hauled John Roberts' ass down. Nah, that little letter, yeah, I'm not going to show up. No. Haul his ass down there, or have the guts to say, we're going to cut your funding off, because there's no explanation for one man getting $4 million and everybody else getting $330,000. He has no ethics, no morals, no values. He is straight up being pimped. He is prostituting himself for conservative billionaires.
It's true. It is true. Unlike somebody like Jay-Z, who made his money by digging into the greatest pathologies and anti-black speech to make himself plenty of money so that he could earn the privilege of singing it or rapping at Tom Brady's birthday party, or going to Pennsylvania to lobby for siphoning off public dollars by the millions to help some anti-black billionaires and raid the public school coffers. At least Sean Carter earned his through the old-fashioned way, minstrelsy. In the case of Clarence Thomas, Clarence Thomas is exactly what you said, Roland, and it's very interesting in this particular context because not only is he completely owned by Harlan Crow and his friends, and like I said, there's nothing more pathetic than to see a Negro who has been bought by some folks who you know are talking about him as soon as he leaves earshot, perhaps even with his wife. But Harlan Crow paid for these trips, and the documents that you referred to that were given to Dick Durbin and the Senate Judiciary Committee only cover 7 years, and they were turned over by Crow in exchange for a promise from the committee not to ask for any more documents. So you can imagine if you had all the documents, what we would see from this wholly owned subsidiary. And as far as the policy making goes, as you and Reese were talking about what Democrats can and can't do, well, we know that last summer, Sheldon Whitehouse wrote some legislation, this ethics bill, that the Republicans killed yesterday. And of course, Little Lynn Graham, in responding to why the Republicans would not sign on to legislation, which should be a no-brainer to say that there should be some ethics rules in place for the Supreme Court, he accused the Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee of engaging in ideological warfare and just mad because they don't like the ideology of the court. Well, Little Lynn, you're right. What people don't like is purebred corruption. Finally, as you said, as you're addressing the question of the unhoused and the crisis we face there, this isn't going to change until there's a critical mass moment. And we may very well be approaching one, because between the Christian soldier Alito and the wholly owned subsidiary Clarence Thomas, these two are acting with such impunity that it might actually piss enough people off to finally get involved. But I guess time will tell.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. But I mean, again, this man is just grossly corrupt. Okay, and he is just living his best life. Y'all can't talk about gold diggers. Y'all can't complain about no woman being a gold digger because if you look up gold digger in the dictionary, it's gonna be a photo of smiling ass Clarence Thomas who's sitting here saying, "I will shake it for dollars," and that's the fact. He is bought and paid for, and you damn right. I'm using this language on purpose because there is no way you can explain $4 million in gifts. There's no way you can explain, oh, my bad, I forgot to list those trips. Let me sit here and let me add those to I'm sorry, I didn't understand the documentation for my wife. But your ass making decisions in complex legal cases, but you don't understand some basic ass income reporting standards?
Right.
Really? Really? Absolutely. He is a legal thought.
Ooh.
That's what he is. And he has no business being on the damn Supreme Court because he's corrupt.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.